And welcome back to Square Off. We're continuing with our voter's guide to the 2024 elections here in Maricopa County. People want their results quickly, but there's a new obstacle to prevent that from happening. We're back with two journalists who cover closely our elections, Jen Fifield, reporter for the nonprofit votebeat.org, and Sasha Hupka of the Arizona Republic. Jen, you reported recently on this new law that will delay the delivery of ballots on election night to the tabulators, which are downtown. What would the law do, and why is it kind of an obstacle?
Yeah, all the poll workers now have to count the number of drop-off ballots, the number of envelopes, not the votes on them, to see how many there are before they start heading back to the central counting facility. That not only delays those ballots, but also the election results already tabulated in the precincts, which we will be waiting on election night.
And the counties had to hire a lot more people and bring in staff from other departments to do this.
Yeah, they had to bring in a whole new set of people to go out and help count these ballots at polling places.
I want to read a quote from your story that I thought was just precious. It's from Alex Colliton, state representative, who sponsored this legislation. And again, he's one who's also pushed for faster counting of ballots. And he says, this small delay will give voters more time to drink a toast to the improved security of the election system.
They think it's worth it to track these ballots this way.
Okay, Sasha, set expectations for election results. Typically, we see the first ballot drop at 8 p.m. and then of the early ballots that were counted by the Friday before the election, correct?
Yes, so all of those early ballots that voters have been returning in the weeks leading up to Election Day, those are all going to be in that first drop. But anything that got dropped off over the weekend, usually the Monday before Election Day, and then on Election Day itself, those early ballots getting dropped off, we are going to be waiting on those. After that 8 p.m. drop, I don't have official time estimates from the county, but what I'm expecting to see, given the delay that Jen is talking about, is that we probably would see something between the 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. hour next, and it'll keep going through the night. We might not see election night results, full election night results, until 2 to 4 a.m. on the next day following election.
Wait, when you say full election night results, you mean all the ballots counted?
No, I mean the results are going to get reported on election night. So those are the results from the polls, right? The people who went in person and voted at the polls. Those early ballots, like I mentioned, that get dropped off on election day, those, we're not going to see those for days because they got to go through signature verification and other processes that actually safeguard against voter fraud.
Right.
So for a full count, like full unofficial results, all of it in, 10 to 13 days is what the county is saying. And whether or not we can call some of these major races as media in that time frame just depends on how tight the margins are.
A very important point I want to underline. Counting the results does not mean you have to wait 10 to 13 days to figure out who the winner is.
No.
The media, as you say, call the winners. In 2020, Joe Biden was declared the winner on the Saturday after the Tuesday election, so 4 days later. Keep that in mind. Jen, lawsuits are already being teed up to perhaps overturn the vote. I don't know, but lawsuits are teed up. What are they aiming for?
All the lawsuits lately have been voter registration, non-citizens voting. What we're going to see after Election Day is Election Day problems. They have roving attorneys out there, both parties watching the polling places, and they're also getting more people that they have working as poll workers now. We're seeing some poll workers are actually acting as part of the monitoring system that they have going on.
And so are these elections designed, these lawsuits designed, some of them, to try to overturn results in specific elections, especially going after voter registration, the whole non-citizen issue involving motor vehicle division? Is that what's going on there?
That is, but so far unsuccessful, and I don't see any of those lawsuits currently being filed affecting anything to do with this election because of a law that doesn't allow you to, file suit that affects an election right before it happens.
Sasha, agree?
Agreed. I mean, voter registration has been the name of the game since earlier this year. We've been seeing it all year. They've been coming in. So when I'm looking at those post-election challenges, and we know there will be post-election challenges, that's going to be the thing. Unfortunately, voter registration is really complicated, so it does make it really hard for people to understand. But I also think it's worth reiterating, none of these post-election challenges to date have been successful. There have been many. Some are still going in the courts, and none of them have been successful.
Okay.
So I expect to see that again, too.
A lot to watch for. Sasha Hupka, Gen 5 Field, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bram.
You can see all of our Sunday Square Off coverage on our YouTube channel. Go to 12news.com/YouTube. That's our show for this week. Thanks very much to all of our guests. Thank you so much for joining us. See you back here on Tuesday on 12 News, 12 News Plus, and 12news.com for complete election coverage, reporting, analysis, and results.